a single gray hair, it can be more jarring than a wrinkle because it doesn't just reflect age, but sometimes it's the first signal that makes you feel you're slowly fading away. And then, from a few quiet strands, gray hair slowly becomes something impossible to hide. No hair dye lasts forever. No hairstyle conceals it for good. But does gray hair really signal a decline? When your hair changes color, is it also the moment your health, your mind, your body begins to fade? No, gray hair is not a red alert for illness, nor is it something that needs to be fixed. In fact, it's proof of your body's resilience, of every year you've overcome, and sometimes it's the quiet beauty that comes only from experience and strength. And you know what? Science shows that accepting gray hair, living gently with yourself, can help reduce stress, and in turn, lower the risk of many age-related diseases, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and even depression. So, why should we embrace our gray hair instead of trying to hide it? If you are struggling between dyeing or not, keeping or letting go, then this video might be the suggestion you have been waiting for. Stick around. Perhaps you'll find gray hair is more beautiful than you ever imagined. Let's start with our first reason. Gray hair is a natural sign of oxidation, not an illness. Ever thought gray hair meant your body was aging out of control? But what's scarier is when you have no hair left to go gray. When looking in the mirror and seeing the first gray hairs, many older adults sigh, worrying, am I aging too quickly? Is there some illness inside me? But in reality, gray hair is not a sign of disease, but the natural result of oxidation and reduced production of melanin, the pigment that gives hair its color, which happens to almost everyone after age 50. According to the Mayo Clinic, hair begins to gray when pigment cells in hair follicles decrease their activity due to genetics and time. This is a completely physiological process, not directly related to pathology, except in some extremely rare immune or specific genetic cases. In other words, gray hair is a normal part of aging, not a sign that something's wrong on the inside. Worrying excessively about gray hair can even backfire, increasing stress, causing insomnia, and making you focus on the smallest changes as a dangerous sign, something that easily happens when entering old age. David Monroe, 71, from Denver, Colorado, once felt insecure when his hair turned gray rapidly after he retired. He got a comprehensive health checkup, and the results were completely normal. The doctor smiled and said, "You don't have any illness. You're just living long enough for your hair to change color." From then on, he let his hair gray naturally and was even complimented by friends for looking more distinguished and confident than ever. The answer isn't trying to dye every last strand, but accepting it as an essential part of life's journey. When you no longer see gray hair as a bad thing, you will feel lighter, more confident, and more at peace with yourself. Because gray hair doesn't say you are weaker, it just says you've weathered life's many seasons, have experienced enough ups and downs so that now each gray strand is a testament to a vitality and resilience that no disease could ever defeat. And once you understand that gray hair is a natural part of aging, you'll also feel more at ease when deciding not to dye it again. Did you know the scalp of a person over 60 absorbs chemicals 3 times more than a younger person's? And each time you dye your hair is a time you're pushing toxins into your body without realizing it. At 60 and beyond, the skin, especially the scalp, becomes thinner, more easily irritated, and slower to recover. Yet many people still dye their hair regularly to hide the gray strands, despite the mild burning, itching, or redness after each time. This, in the long run, not only harms the scalp, but can also lead to contact dermatitis, patchy hair loss, and affect overall health through absorption. Hair dyes, whether they are herbal, natural, or ammonia-free, still contain chemicals like paraphenylenediamine, the PPD, hydrogen peroxide, or resorcinol. These substances easily cause allergies, especially for older adults with sensitive skin or a weakened immune system. Not only is the scalp damaged, but the mucous membranes of the nose and eyes can also be irritated by the chemical fumes that evaporate during the dyeing process. The American Academy of Dermatology, AAD, warns that the rate of hair dye allergies increases with age, and those with pre-existing conditions like dermatitis, eczema, or asthma are more likely to react to hair coloring agents, especially when used over a long period and without prior testing. Sylvia Green, 76, from San Diego, California, had persistently dyed her hair black every month for over 20 years. Once, after dyeing it at home, she experienced intense itching, a red rash, and significant patchy hair loss a few days later. Her doctor then advised her to stop all dyeing products completely. Since letting her hair go naturally gray, her scalp has become healthier, her hair has grown back evenly, and her friends praise her for looking so elegant and peaceful. It's simply about not fighting time with chemicals. Care for your gray hair with a gentle shampoo, coconut oil, or natural hair conditioners to keep it soft, shiny, and healthy. A naturally healthy head of gray hair will be safer, more comfortable, and will enhance the peaceful beauty of old age. Because after all, the health of your scalp is more important than a temporary appearance. And there is nothing to hide in a head of gray hair, when it itself is a testament to the wide, strong, and proud journey you've traveled. And not only does it help your scalp become healthier, accepting in gray hair also brings a silent but very important benefit: stress reduction. Gray hair doesn't kill you, but the fear of gray hair is silently bumping up your blood pressure every day. Many older adults see gray hair and immediately feel, "I'm really getting old," and from there begin to feel anxious, jaded, and even avoid mirrors. That emotion may seem harmless, but it actually silently causes serious effects on cardiovascular health, which is already more sensitive after age 60. When you try to deny the natural changes of your body, the brain registers that stress as a threat. Stress hormones like cortisol increase, making the heart beat faster, raising blood pressure, and causing sleep disturbances. These effects, if prolonged, will reduce heart stamina, increasing the risk of heart attack or stroke, especially in those with pre-existing conditions. A study by the University of California, San Francisco showed the more positively older adults accept their body image and age, the lower their risk of high blood pressure, arrhythmia, and insomnia. In other words, being at peace with your gray hair not only helps you find serenity, but also truly protects your heart. Charles O'Neill, 74, from Des Moines, Iowa, was very worried when his hair became almost completely gray after a stressful winter. He tried to dye it, hide it, and then felt self-conscious when going out. After a group discussion at his senior club, he decided to let his hair go gray naturally. Since then, he has felt relieved, sleeps better, and no longer worries about looking old every time he meets friends. "When I stopped fighting my gray hair, I felt my own heart beat a little calmer," he said. You should let go of worries about appearance and instead care for your spirit. Gentle meditation each morning, practicing deep breathing, and talking with peers are simple ways to keep your mind calm, a core element for keeping your heart stable after 60. Gray hair does not make you old. It's anxiety that wears your heart out. Let each gray strand become a mark of a soul that has learned to live slowly, live deeply, and live healthily from the inside out. If you're still with me and finding this helpful, drop a 3 in the comments just to let me know. And hey, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out. Your support means the world and helps us keep making content like this. And if you've ever worried that gray hair is a sign of declining memory or failing health, then rest assured, that's just a common myth. Many people think gray hair is a sign that memory is fading, but in reality, some minds stay brilliant, even when their hair has long turned white. Quite a few older adults, upon seeing their hair graying quickly, assume, I must be getting old and weak too fast. I'm starting to get forgetful now." The link between gray hair and memory decline is a common but completely false assumption. Gray hair and the brain are two independent processes. One is an external change, the other is a deep internal function, and they do not necessarily go together. Gray hair occurs because the body stops producing melanin, the pigment that colors hair, as part of the natural aging process. Meanwhile, memory and cognition are closely related to lifestyle, sleep, exercise, and mental stimulation. Equating gray hair with a poor memory can easily create a sense of inferiority, reduce communication, and cause older adults to withdraw from social life. which can actually accelerate the process of real cognitive decline. According to the National Institute on Aging, NIA, there is no scientific evidence to suggest that gray hair is an early indicator of Alzheimer's disease or other dementia-related illnesses. On the contrary, many people have gray hair from middle age but maintain a sharp intellect well into their 80s and 90s. Agnes McCarthy, 80, from Vermont, had her hair turned completely white at age 58. Her grandchild once asked her, "Grandma, are you forgetful because your hair is white?" She smiled and recited a poem she had memorized since she was a young girl. To this day, she still teaches an English class for immigrants every week. Her memory has not diminished at all. "My hair changed color, but my mind is still all here," she said gently. The issue lies in how you perceive yourself. Continue reading books, playing crossword puzzles, talking with friends, learning a new skill. All of these help keep your brain active, and do not let a hair color make you doubt your abilities. Because true clarity is not in the color of your hair, but in how you maintain your life every day. Gray hair is just on the surface. Wisdom is what you've built your whole life. Believe that each gray hair is proof of a memory, a story, not a sign of forgetting. And above all, when you let go of worry and allow gray hair to appear naturally, you are choosing for yourself a very unique beauty, a quiet confidence that only comes with age. Are you dyeing your hair to look younger? You might be erasing the very thing that makes you stand out. In a society that values youthfulness, many older adults feel self-conscious when their hair turns silver white. But in fact, that very hair gives you a unique beauty, a quiet, worldly, and charismatic character that no hair color can replace. Like the fine cracks on antique pottery, gray hair does not diminish value, but rather enhances the depth of time. In the United States, more and more celebrities, experts, and even older models are choosing to let their hair gray naturally as a statement of self-confidence and self-acceptance. The gray pride movement is not just an aesthetic trend, but also a way to affirm old age is not the end of beauty, but a different version of beautiful, more experienced and authentic. According to the American Geriatric Society, AGS, older adults with a positive attitude toward their natural appearance tend to live longer, communicate more, and have a significantly higher level of life satisfaction. Accepting a gray hair is not just about freeing yourself from the pressure of appearance, but also opening up the opportunity to live authentically, to live more lightly every day. Nancy Ellison, 67, from Santa Fe, New Mexico, used to cover her gray hair with dye for 15 years. One day she decided to stop dyeing and let her hair go gray naturally. The result was that friends and colleagues constantly complimented her for having more presence and looking more elegant than before. "I am no longer afraid of bright lights or camera lenses. This is the real me," she recounted with a radiant smile. The important thing is not in the beauty salon, but in your own perspective on beauty. Pamper your gray hair with a brightening shampoo, keep it neatly styled, and wear colors that complement your skin and natural hair. You will be surprised how that very hair makes your face shine in a completely new way. Because beauty does not belong to age. It belongs to the peace, confidence, and joy of being yourself. And nothing expresses that more clearly than a head of gray hair that you embrace with both pride and love. Gray hair doesn't make you weak. It does not take away your memory, nor can it hide a warm gaze in every genuine smile. Each gray hair is not the end of youth, but proof of a life you've lived fully. There are things you have lost, have overcome, and still chose to stay. You do not need to dye a youthful color. You do not need to hide the passage of time. You only need to step out confidently, with your gray hair as your silent crown. If this video made you smile, share it with a friend, someone who's hesitating in the mirror or is torn between keeping it or hiding it. Perhaps you will be the one who inspires them to love themselves more from something that seems so small, their gray hair. Thank you for staying until the very end. May you live lightly and beautifully in your very own way.